Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Racine, Wisconsin, about 45 minutes or so from Milwaukee. And we're here covering the election, stories that are not being covered in mainstream media. But sometimes there's just characters in the local community that could really tell you the truth on what's really going on in these states that do not have a team blue hat or a team red hat on, that could tell you, level with you, that they're all full of shit and they're all crooks. Joining me at the young age of 82, Chester Todd, running for the Green Party congressional seat in the 1st District. We're in Milwaukee the last day or two. It's like Detroit, it's like Cleveland, Flint. I mean, 10 blocks are beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you go 10 minutes down the road, and it's ugly.
Yeah.
And the bumper stickers in the election, you got For the People,
yeah,
Kamala, you got Make America Great Again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them coming here to Racine.
No.
I don't see either of them focus on these. And I don't really see, I mean, every election, I'm told, is the most important election of our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But what are either of them going to do about the police budgets through the roof? Mm-hmm. Gentrification, prices. I mean, obviously that's why you're running as a Green.
Right. But see, and we were, right before we started this, I was going into that. It's strange. Now, Vice President Harris, you come to Wisconsin, you go to basically the white areas, in which I understand it. I'm not an idiot. I know you got to have those votes. And you have got to prove to these people that you're the type of Negro that will be in favor of what they want. And this is not condemnation upon all white people, but I'm simply saying when I see this lady running for vice president and she tells a black interviewer that is she going to do anything that would be for black people only? No. She said that. I saw that. And so I'm saying, well, then, if I was going to vote for you, you just changed my damn mind. They were discussing reparations. And, of course, here again, and I know I flipped a little bit, but here again, you approached them about reparations, the Democrats. Now, we know you're not going to go to the Republicans about that. That's bullshit. They don't want to hear that. But you would think that the Democratic Party by now would have solved that issue to a point that they could talk about it. They can't even talk about it. Well, we're going to now we're going to have a commission, and then we're going to get a committee, and all these black people in Milwaukee who she don't even care to visit. She won't go over to the 53206, the worst zip code probably in the nation. I worked there for 8 years. Poverty, I had never seen poverty like that in my life.
He was just there 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Over there on Burleigh, Chambers, all of that. All of that is just, man, homelessness. And then you got people just walking around lost. But she don't care to go there. Democrats don't go there. Okay?
Yeah, Chester, even your opponent, Democratic opponent, Peter Barco, won't talk about it. And what we did is we put together these signs all over the neighborhoods throughout the district.
Yeah.
The urban areas, Racine, Kenosha, Beloit, and they're up, and it embarrasses the hell out of them because they don't know how to respond to that. They know how to respond to, whatever the Republican supposedly says and play these little games. Mm-hmm. But the Democrats, they can't talk about real issues to real people.
No, they, because I guess when you lie so damn much, the point where I want to go, though, is that all these black people in Milwaukee and in Racine and in Kenosha are going to vote for this lady purely because she's black. I got over that with the Obama years. See, because I stopped voting for Democrats in 90, the first campaign of Clinton. I said, bullshit, I'm not voting for a Southern white boy.
You mean him playing the saxophone?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's black. Come on, he's black. You know, I mean, it's crazy how they got black people so bamboozled. I love black folks. I've fought all my life for my people. But then if an 82-year-old man who, with a master's, I got a master's after I sobered up, okay? And it took me 11 years to go from a high school equivalency to a master's degree. I worked my butt off, and only because I knew I could do it. I had to prove to myself. I'm only human, and I've dropped a lot of my bigotry, which blacks can't be racist, but we can be bigots. And with what I went through all my life, I figure I earned the right to be a bigot to some extent. But I found out, like the first time I met Jill Stein, that was March 21st. We were over at the Jacobin Center, and that was a highlight of my life. But in our audience, we had some whites. And I said, I know in the audience, there's some white people whose table looked like mine. No food, At least when Trump was in, and I'm by no means a Trumper, but I had 2 freezers full of food, and something's wrong. And then when someone stands up from this administration and say, well, ground beef's up 50%. You idiot, it's your damn administration. Why are you, I don't know.
So for you, because obviously most people don't run for the first time, in their 80s, you decided to run basically because you see past the whole rah-rah team blue, rah-rah team red. Because a lot of people say, Jordan, why are you interviewing a Green Party, or you're going to help Republicans, this and that. But the way I look at it is I make no bones. I'm certainly not a Trump supporter, but I also can't lie to the audience that things are going to get materially better. I mean, Kamala Harris, we were talking about it. We're driving, and I see billboards on the highway. Kamala Harris supports raising the minimum wage.
Yeah.
To what?
Well, yeah.
Right.
How?
Right.
I just see a lot of bumper stickers and slogans for the people.
Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting. We were just in Detroit, and we went to the National Action Network rally, which is Sharpton's whole gig, and I was expecting to meet rah-rah Harris people, and I met 2 older black women who have been lifelong Democrats.
Yep.
And they're both considering Trump.
Yes.
Not particularly for anything about Trump. They're just so fed up with the gentrification, and the Democrats run their city, and they're just kind of fed up.
Yeah. One thing that really made me pick up this mantle is I want black people to know you don't have to vote for these. It's like if you ever went to a circus and you seen this elephant and it's tied to this pole, and you say, well, why in the hell don't the elephant just move its foot, break the chain, and run away? That's because the elephant is raised from a baby tied to a tree. So it's accustomed to being tied. That's what black people are to the Democratic Party. They come in the area 2 to 4 years, depending if it's midterm or the big one, and they say, we're gonna do this. And we sit back and never question, how are you gonna do it? Police reform. Yeah, well, I wonder how you were going to do police reform under Joe Biden, who is actually a goddamn cop himself. I mean, you go back to 93, to the Senate floor, when he gave that speech, he all but said we're locking up every black person we can. And then one of my opponents, Peter Barker, signed that same damn bill. He was appointed to Congress, wasn't he? Made it to the end of the term, and that was it. Now, he gave the same kind of speech, but real passive. The Democrats come to us. They got us bamboozled. They got us smoked out to where we believe anything they say. And I'm not saying black people are stupid, but the way the system is set up, we got to believe in something. I guess you just believe in, I don't know.
Their theme is democracy at the line, yet they're doing everything humanly possible to eliminate choices.
Yes.
I mean, we know what they did to Matthew Ho in North Carolina.
Yes.
I don't care if you think Trump is Lucifer, but you either are for democracy or you're not.
Exactly.
And the fact of the matter is, if you can't convince people to vote for you, that's on you.
Right.
Right, exactly. You know, why anybody, as Americans, we should be able to see that two parties is not really, that's not covering the whole spectrum. You got to have at least 3 or 4 different parties to elect from. Look, democracy implies that the majority rules. So we got this party here, and it gets elected, and so then what happens to everyone else out there? Where's their say-so? What party have you got in this thing?
And you could argue that it's not 2 parties, it's 1 party.
Right. But then we divert back to that old word capitalism. From the colonies to today, it's got you screwed.
Well, I'd love your thoughts, because Martin Luther King happened to be assassinated not when he was talking about civil rights, but when he started talking about capitalism and jobs.
Hey, do you not look? There's powers way up there that have you ever watched on YouTube, I think it is, The Men Who Built America?
Yep.
Frightening. Especially, I think it's the 4th segment where they show how the presidency was bought, how they bought this one governor to the side, and I said, these are the Rockefellers.
Be careful, you're going to get me kicked off YouTube.
The Rockefellers and they're changing this damn money. And I sat there and I said, that's the way it's done. Of course, my sociology professor, when I started college, I was like 50. And this old guy, he was sharp, man. He had like 12 years in a monastery. He wrote and spoke 7 languages fluently, and he was something. And he told me, he says, 2 things you got to remember in America: money and land. If you don't have access to those, forget it. You're out. And so that's why I wonder how all these middle-class people walk around thinking that they got a part in the system. They don't have you play a part in the system.
I would actually, even though you are my elder and I respect you, I would argue, even if you have land, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You see what's going on?
Oh,
I mean, if you're in Flint, if you're in East Palestine, if you're in the wrong city at the wrong place, and your water's poisoned, or your air's poisoned, or your soil's poisoned, or fracking, or...
Hey, now she changed her mind on fracking,
right.
You know.
But I'm saying, you could own a house, you could own land, but we have sacrifice zones all over America.
Yeah. Oh, here we had a Foxconn. Oh, God.
Literally, it was a con.
It was a
con. Literally a con.
I don't know if you saw former President Obama had a message for, as he called it, the brothers.
Yeah.
He told the brothers he thinks that any of the black men that are going over to Trump, it must be because they don't want a woman president. Not that you speak for all black men, but I'm curious what you thought of that.
Well, I didn't expect anything else from him. I voted for Obama because I never thought I'd see that happen. You know, a black president, a black male president. And from my point of view, I wish we'd have went and elected women before this. Not necessarily Hillary, but I think it's time for other countries that tried it. But for him to have the audacity to come to black men and expound that when he hasn't grown up like I did, you know. He got a lot of nerve talking like that to me. Number one, this is a democracy, isn't it? And I'm supposed to have the right to vote for who I want to without being criticized. So he just broke number one rule. You know, that's the way I look at it. And I know them guys are looking at him like, cause see, it's a different type of young black guy today. He don't give a shit what you say. You gotta be someone like me, or and I don't mean to do this, but you gotta have this in you to where you can look another brother in the eye and say, hey, look, let me really show you what's happening, man. He hasn't done that. He has never sat down and just said, here, look at this. This is what's going on. Mm-hmm. Be fair. Be straight. Come on. If I was him or any other politician, black politician, I would love to sit down and sit with black people and say, this is what's happening. My party, the Democratic Party, has been bamboozling you for quite a few years. I'm here today as a Democrat to straighten that out. Not only am I going to work on the inner city or the poor whites over here, but I'm going to work inside the party to move it. You know, none of these guys, Jasmine Crockett, thought she was, I said, oh man, this sister, man, Israel had, oh God. And then same thing happened with Hakeem. I thought he was, and that's where I was going before, when he come out and says, you know, let's drop some more bombs. I said, wow. I got Democratic friends here in Racine, black guys, who condemn me for being pro-Palestine. I said, how could you? Well, you care more about them than you do you. I said, look at my history. I'm the only one, well, one L, probably Al and I, a friend of mine, Al Gardner, have stood tall in this community. I mean, we have taken abuse, and people talk about us, you know, and laugh, but we have stood up. There's other guys, too, you know. I don't just to make it about Al and I, but then there's been more phonies than there's been real, you know, more self-interest, about that time.
About that time. I'd be a really bad campaign manager if I didn't say, folks, if you like what Chester says, visit him at chestertodd.org. We are running TV commercials, streaming TV commercials. We did a buy for, sounds like a lot, like $150,000 if they're streaming, so for a few $1,000s. We're looking to expand that. We've got some other ones coming. If you'd like to donate, chestertodd.org is a great place to go. If you want to see our commercials, follow us on Twitter, Chester Todd, WI.
And I'm going to have to talk to you another time because I think we need a few more hours for your life story.
There you go.
The thing is, if you vote for me, just remember, it's not about Chester. It's about the party. I thoroughly believe in our platform, and I believe in Jill Stein. I believe in Jill Stein. I know a real person when I see him, and she is real. She's the real deal, you know. So I'd ask each and every person, go on the website of the Green Party and read. Just take 2 or 3 days, take a week and read the platform, and you'll see it's so simplistic that it makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.